Okay, so I hope this one is going to be a short one today. Guys, we are going to talk about comments. Now, comments are great. You're going to use them all the time. We are going to look at them. So let's go, without any further ado, let's go right into it. Okay, so just for the benefit of those present, I will, of course, use the Hello World script to sort of show this. Hold on a sec. Here is the code we did last time from the Hello World thing. You'll probably recognize this. I think you've already seen that this octothorpe means skip this line in code. We're going to talk about a few different ways you can do this. First off, one of the ways you can do this is just by putting a little hash in front of there, or a little octothorpe or hash in front of there, and that will make it so that if we go over here and go python hello world.py, oh, look at that. Now remember, as always, that we need to be in the right directory, so make sure you navigate to the right directory when you do that. It will run it. Now you'll notice it skipped the hello world part. And same thing. Another thing we can do if we want to comment out a whole bunch of stuff is we can go triple quotes, because triple quotes means skipping multiple lines. So triple quotes are often used when you want to do multi-line strings. We're going to get into that later. But basically, none of this stuff will run now. Let's take a look. Boom. It starts at twinkle, twinkle, little star, as you saw over here. Now, this is a really powerful thing because it means you can just, arbitrarily say, okay, well, I don't want this line of code to run. I don't want this line of code to run. Or, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, I don't want any of these lines of code to run. And the computer's like, okay, if you say so. And it's very simple, very straightforward. Now, one of the things I'd like you to remember is that if you want to do this with single quotes instead of double quotes, that is just fine. It does the exact same thing. You just must be consistent. For instance, if I were to start this with double quotes and then end it with single quotes, the whole thing now has no idea what's going on here. Anyway, suffice it to say that this is how you comment things out. There's another thing that's going on here that is very useful in programming, and this is called a documentation string, or a docstring for short. I'm going to go through and I'm going to select stuff to delete. You'll notice I've put the name of the file at the top here. This is an example of what you might call a doc string, a documentation string. But I want to get more specific into that. Generally what is done is the following. Now I'm going to write this out and I'll come back. See you in a second. Okay, so as you can see, I've actually added in some documentation right here. You notice I've noticed the file name, the author, and something about it. And these are really useful because they help explain your code and help explain what it's for. Now, in this, I've said you can write a little explanation about your code here, but what you should write is something like, this code prints out some statements as practice for those learning Python. You can see that using these would make communicating to other people who use your code very useful. And that happens a lot. When you're in the programming environment, you're going to have other people read your code. They should understand what you're doing. This is not just for you. It's not just for the people around you. It can be also for you. Okay, this can help you understand what your code is about. Because I've written code, come back to it weeks later, can't remember anything about it, can't remember what it was for. So this is what you can do with these comments. Now, I want you to use these things and I want you to comment out pieces of code. Again, mess around with this, play around with it, see how you can break it or mess it up. And remember, of course, just in everything you do, make sure you are consistent with the type of quotes you're using. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. That's all for this lesson, and thank you for listening. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like, and please consider subscribing if you like this content.